Murder in the morning from the Hidden Killers podcast.
Well, the drama around Alec Baldwin is, it's not ending. Alec Baldwin's legal team has now indicated plans to sue Santa Fe Sheriff Adan Mendoza and Prosecutor Kari Morrissey after it was revealed the withheld critical evidence during Baldwin's trial for the on-set shooting death of Rust cinematographer Halyna Hutchins. This should be an interesting one to watch. I wasn't expecting this to happen, but yeah.
Well, it's season 2 of Rust.
Oh, shit. It's going to end up being a doc at some point. In preservation notices obtained by Rolling Stone, Baldwin's attorneys warned both Mendoza and Morrissey of future litigation due to their actions during the involuntary manslaughter trial. The notices require both parties to preserve all relevant information, including devices, hard drives, emails, text messages, and other electronic communications related to the case. This encompasses all communications between and among anyone at the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office, the First Judicial District Attorney's Office, and or the Special Prosecutor's Office related to the incident, as well as all documents, communications, and information referencing or relating to Mr. Baldwin. The notices also caution that failure to comply could result in serious consequences, including civil liability, court sanctions, and adverse evidentiary interferences in any subsequent proceeding. In a surprising turn of events, Judge Mary Marlowe Sommer dismissed Baldwin's case just last week, citing the Santa Fe Sheriff's Office and Morrissey's failure to disclose key evidence regarding the source of the live round that killed Hutchins on October 21st, 2021. Hutchins was, of course, fatally shot while preparing the scene for inside the Bonanza Creek Ranch in New Mexico. Baldwin was practicing a cross draw with a pistol when it accidentally discharged, striking Hutchins, fatally injuring director Joel Souza, fatally injuring Hutchins and injuring director Joel Souza. Baldwin, who's 66, along with the film's armor, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, faced involuntary manslaughter charges for the incident. Gutierrez-Reed, found guilty in a separate trial, sentenced to 18 months in prison in March following the dismissal of Baldwin's case. Her legal team is now seeking to overturn her conviction as well, citing similar prosecutorial misconduct. In a motion filed on Tuesday, attorney Jason Bowles asserted that substantial evidence undisclosed before the trial had come to light. Bowles has also requested that Gutierrez-Reed be released from prison and called for the removal of Special Prosecutor Kari Morrissey due to alleged misconduct. District Attorney Mary Carmack Altwise has continued to support Morrissey despite these allegations. Through Baldwin's criminal charge has been dismissed, he is not entirely free of the legal battles on this. Civil suits from Hutchins' family remain pending. Gloria Allred, representing Hutchins' parents and sister, emphasized that the judge's decisions to dismiss the case does not exonerate Baldwin. The judge's decision is in no way, shape, or form an exoneration of him. Allred said it does not change the fact that Alec Baldwin killed Halyna Hutchins on the set of Rust. He fired a loaded gun while pointing it at a human being. In a press conference on Saturday, Allred reiterated her commitment to seeking justice for Hutchins, vowing to fight to the end for Halyna Hutchins despite the case dismissal, ongoing civil litigation that Baldwin remains entangled in the legal ramifications of the tragic shooting on the set of the film Rust. It's, what is justice in something like this, I guess, is the question. Is justice destroying people's lives that really had absolutely no intention and no knowledge that they were about to kill somebody?
Yeah, and that's an interesting question because, Gloria Allred saying it doesn't change the fact that Alec Baldwin killed Halyna Hutchins. He fired a loaded gun while pointing it at a human being. He didn't know that was a loaded weapon.
No.
So
he was told by two people, this is not a loaded weapon. You're doing a movie like you always do. This is not a loaded weapon.
What is he supposed to do before every take? Go and pretend to shoot?
I guess so. I guess nobody has an answer to that. Nobody knows, what should he have done? Take a little magnifying glass and, like a real close look at that bullet and make sure to? Considering you already had two people who were supposed to be doing that?
Yeah, accountability is what I think this whole thing is about. Who was in charge of the ammunition. Did they do their job? Doesn't look like they did. Something went wrong. Who was it who messed this up? Because there's a dead body. There's somebody who died because of this, and a couple people were injured. This is a very sad case, but I don't think Alec Baldwin was this evil, maniacal, I'm going to kill somebody kind of person today.
No.
He's an actor. The guy might be the biggest prick in the world, but he's just an actor. He's not a murderer.
And I think
there's a difference.
And I think when you start going down the road, and it's a fucking term that gets used, I think, too much too. Justice for ... There are certainly cases that we talk about here where that is applicable. Justice for Madeline Soto, who was being raped by the person who was supposed to be one of the caregivers of her. Justice for the victims of Alec Murdaugh. Those are that's justice. This is not. This is going after anyone and everything you possibly can get in your net, whether it should be there or not. Mm-hmm. And just going behind the flag. It's a bumper sticker. Justice for. And I think the more that we look at cases that get thrown into that net of justice for that don't truly, it doesn't apply, that's not a term that makes sense for something like this, you also pull down the value and the validity of those cases that truly do deserve justice for. Now, Halyna Hutchins, accountability, we got to figure this out so this shit doesn't happen again. That's really what the lesson should be here. Not let's destroy a bunch of lives. On top of, I mean, again, you go back and you look at this Halyna Hutchins. She's dead, can't speak for herself, but from what we understand, nice lady, a mother, had her career going, and was excited to be part of this. If she could speak, would she be happy that all these people's lives are being ripped apart because of a horrible accident, which I would imagine she could look at and go, there's no way in hell Alec would have known?
Yeah. 100%.
I think it's everybody is so quick to get out the pitchfork and the flame and run around town and just go after people. And then that's how they get these groups. That's how we get the free Karen readers. That's how we get this shit. It's like, everybody get your flame and your pitchfork and join the group over here, and then you feel like you're part of something. Is it because we are in a world where people just, they're so lost and don't feel parts of things, and that this is how the community is now, because we're more connected in ways than ever before online,
and we've never
social
been
media.
so far apart.
Exactly. We've never been so far apart in actual human interactions. So people jump onto these things in ways that we didn't used to see.
People are incredibly lonely, and it was even happening before the pandemic, but the pandemic isolated people in ways that we never saw possible. And people started working from home, and so they don't leave their homes. And I'm guilty of it myself. I have to force myself to go out in public because I just don't. My life does not exist outside my home unless I force it now. Working from home is a beautiful thing. If you can do it, it's great. It's lovely. I love being around my cats all day. I'm wearing sweats right now. I love it. It's great. I don't have some asshole standing over my shoulder, what used to be a cubicle concept. My life is great, but I have to force myself to leave the house, and I feel isolated.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what people feel like who don't interact with people on a daily basis.
That's me. That's why I tell you, I had another weird dream tonight that I was working at a radio station and there was community around it. And we have virtual community here with my company, but it is different. We're interacting more than we ever have, in our lives in the past, but you're not here. I'm not there. Carol, Craig, everybody's in different places. But the thing is, it's a different type of community, but it's different, especially for folks like us who once had the world that was like that. Maybe it's different for folks who've never experienced it, and this is the norm. I don't know. But you do certainly miss something, and you do have to kind of force yourself to get out there and find that community. Unfortunately, I feel like people are going out there and finding that community in the wrong places.
And that's the crux of the issue. When you and I worked together face to face, we had cubicles, and we used to have like paper fights. We'd throw shit at each other.
Yeah.
We'd, scare each other. We were not professional by any standards, but we would screw around and see each other. Sometimes there was physical touch.
Yeah.
And I don't mean, naughty touch or anything, but just, we were within proximity of each other. You could actually reach out and touch somebody, and we don't have that now. I haven't seen you in 2 years?
3, I think. Yeah. I haven't seen you physically in 3 years. Yeah. And
it's weird. And people need that interaction between one another, because we're being human. This is something that we need. It goes back to just needing to have that connection with other human beings. And we don't have that now, even though we have wonderful ways of communicating. We can do video chats, we can do Zoom and FaceTime and things like that. It's amazing. We can text, we can call, all these things that we can do, and we've never been further apart.
I know. I mean,
it's got to give.
I used to have a disco ball that was between you and my cubicle.
Yes.
and I would flip the light off in that office and play music and shoot the disco ball with light. And it was fun. It was a fun time back then. But it's a different world, and people are, it's good to find community, but just be careful of those communities you choose.
Want to listen ad-free? Want advanced access to all of our interviews before anyone else?
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
You get every episode commercial-free,
so you can binge on true crime
until you can binge no more.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts now, or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast next.